film this video because you are dealing with burnout, or you think you're on the verge of burnout, or you're trying to get over your burnout and you're ready to take actionable steps to get better. Sister, I'm right there with you. Let's do it together. It's been a little while, so let's talk about it. Today we're gonna be drinking some Poppy. This is my favorite, it's Doc Pop, so just to put you guys on. Poppy, hi, if you're watching. We've got a lot to talk about today, and we need a little bit of a pick-me-up in order to get through it all, because it's a lot, you guys. So good. Actually, also, since I'm home, I'm gonna grab a straw because I feel like that just makes it taste that much better, you know? Okay, we'll see which one fits better. Neither are great. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous, but I think that's kind of funny, so we're gonna stick with that. Let's get cozy, you guys. We're about to dive into this shit. You guys know that this is a crazy video and I've prepared like handwritten notes. Hi, by the way, I didn't even introduce myself or say hello. How rude of me. Hi, I'm Evie. Welcome or welcome back if you're new here. Wait. Welcome back or welcome if you're new here. Honestly, this channel kind of just goes through everything. I am taking you along in my life. I'm learning lessons and I'm sharing those lessons with you almost like a big sister. Let's walk through some shit together. You guys, I've been going through it. And as you may or may not have noticed, I have been missing. I've been missing for the last several months. I've been burnt out. So, I'm gonna go through the top 5 things I have learned in my mid-20s. Scary. Mid-20s burnout. It's true, you guys. I'm officially in my mid-20s. In like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm gonna be 25. Oh, scary. For those of you who are younger than me, you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's fucking old. For those of you who are older than me, are gonna be like, oh my god, you're so young. I feel like your 20s is such an odd age where you feel like you have this like impending doom feeling, if you're anything like me, that is, that like you're racing towards your 30s and it feels freaking scary. Like I feel like I have this dilemma every year. Anyways, quick sidetrack, sorry about that. Mid-20s. First of all, I want to explain to you what is a burnout. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. Okay, there's a lot of different like subsections of burnout. We're not talking about destroying property by fire burnout. We're talking about exhaustion of physical or emotional strength or motivation, usually as a result of prolonged stress or frustration. That's tough. That's me. So, now that we have our dictionary definition of a burnout, let me explain to you what I've been dealing with for the past 3 months, you guys. Like, it's been since March. Definitely can't do math. It's more than 3 months, I think. Anyways, stress. End of video, done. Kidding. So my specific burnout is linked to my job, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. But I was always stressed, chronically overworked, had anxiety through the roof. Like I would be, like my heart would be palpitating. Like I could physically feel my heart beating in my chest in the middle of like my workday. Escaping to my car to cry, always feeling on edge, abuse of caffeine just to feel like I'm staying afloat. Coming home from work and not being able to settle down, like never feeling like I can come down from the stress of work, having absolutely no motivation for all the things that I love. Not a way to live. Not a way to live. All that being said, this leads us into point number 1. Misery is never worth it. I want to say that one more time so this sinks in. Misery is never worth it. I was stuck in this like negative feedback loop of, okay, like maybe it'll get better, like holding on to a hope that just wasn't even gonna come close to being true. It was literally months of maybe it'll get better, maybe it'll get better. Like throughout my week, having a really, really bad day and then having like a kind of good day where I like laughed a couple times in my work day. And me being like, okay, maybe it's getting better. I got so used to this consistent negativity that I completely forgot what my life used to be. And I feel like burnout, for me specifically, is something that is really difficult to come to terms with because I am not someone who will shy away from hard work. I am not someone who will shy away from long hours. I am not someone who will shy away from the mentality of doing whatever it takes to get the job done. I took forever to decide, okay, I am miserable. Like, burnout is very personal. It's very important to sit with yourself and like reevaluate. So I quit my job. It was over 4th of July that I sat with my mom and we like just kind of reevaluated, okay, what am I holding on to? You know, I think that's kind of what the big one was. What am I holding on to? My job evolved quite a bit and evolved into something that wasn't healthy for me anymore. If you feel like you are miserable and you feel like you're just like stuck, but you don't know if you're like being a baby, for lack of a better word, I would encourage you, talk to someone that you look up to, that you trust, that knows the situation, maybe someone who doesn't know the situation at all. For me, I had like 3 different people that I talked to that I very much value their opinions, and the unanimous decision was, dude, you gotta get out of there. And so anyways, I've been scripting this video for a couple weeks now, and obviously my point number 1 is misery is never worth it. And I was like, who am I to be preaching this to you guys if I can't even follow my own guidelines? So I decided to quit. And obviously, like I said, this was a very hard decision for myself, but it was ultimately what was right. And so identifying that you are miserable is step 1. The next thing that I've learned in this burnout is to never let someone take away the things that you love. Let me explain what I mean by this. The last 2 years, outside of my normal 9 to 5, I also coach girls volleyball, like club volleyball. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. I love these kids so much. Seeing them like really genuinely like boost my mood. This burnout turned that into something negative. I was so stressed from my job. I felt like I couldn't leave my work to go to practice because I felt like I had so much I had to do. I, in fact, canceled on certain tournaments that I would normally go to because I had so much work I couldn't even afford to take a day off. So I started like not loving volleyball, which was a big teller. Like last year, I was fine. I loved practices. I looked forward to practices. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just because it's the end of the season. I have busy work. Like maybe I just need to have something new, something exciting, whatever. Seasons are long. Thought it was just that. So what did I do? Decided to sign myself up for a relay race that's in August. Okay, still not feeling happy, still having a hard time, like balancing everything, going home and like not training. Instead, I'm just like scrolling on my phone. I was like, okay, I need to be more productive. Let's force myself to be out of the house some more. Signed up for a screenwriting class. Okay. Well, now I have something after every single workday, except for Fridays and Mondays. My schedule was so full, I was so burnt out that I could barely stay afloat with everything I was doing. Managing my job, managing volleyball outside of that, managing training, managing the screenwriting class. Like I had so much, and not to mention my screenwriting class came with homework. Like I had to write a 30-page script. I was so burnt out and stressed and exhausted, you guys. I felt like I could never sleep enough hours. I felt like no amount of caffeine in the world that could help. My heart started hurting. My eyes started twitching. She still twitches here and there because I think we've got some residual effects, we'll call it. But yeah, like with my burnout, I wasn't just losing like my overall joy. I was also losing my motivation to stick to my goals and to stick with my passions that I was so excited to like achieve and chase, you know what I mean? I had so many things on my plate, something had to give. I stopped posting on YouTube. When the volleyball season was over, I literally ignored it completely. Like didn't do any private lessons, didn't go to the courts, didn't go to the gym, didn't do anything. And I was barely managing my health and my training. The only reason I was like sometimes getting in a couple runs a week was because of the internal pressure to actually make sure I could finish this relay race and to not disappoint my sister and my team. Like I had no desire to do anything. I signed up for it and immediately I was like, oh fuck, what do I do? You know? So with all this, like, first of all, don't do what I did and like tack on a million different things when you start seeing that you're burnt out. Adding more to your plate when you are burnt out is not gonna fix your problem, never will. Never will. And don't let external pressures or external influences dim your passions and take away your passions, because I let that happen to me and I feel like I don't even know how I feel. I feel really bummed, maybe embarrassed is the feeling. Like I don't even know. I just like don't do it. Don't do what I did. Do not let yourself walk away from the things that you have been like pushing towards. My third point, the universe, God, whoever, whatever you believe in, will push you out of the wrong situations. You need to be so aware. You need to be so cognizant of the signs, you guys. When it rains, it will freaking pour. And it did for me, and I continually ignored it and tried to keep pushing along because I was so determined to not let this burnout defeat me. My passions were going away. I started getting sick all the time. My skin is still recovering from this. Like, it is so clear. You see on TikTok, girls will say, like, your body will tell you when you were in the wrong situation. They show, like, clip 1 from when they were in a bad situation, and then there's, like, when they look like they're glowing. It's true, guys. I feel like my skin has never felt so dull and drab. It is a reflection of your life and your mental well-being. So I strongly believe that you have a path and you have a direction in this life, and you are meant to listen and follow that path. The signs become very clear, and when you ask for signs, don't ignore them. If you do not listen to the signs, God, the universe, whoever, will make it so difficult for you. They will push you out of a situation. It'll make it literally impossible for you to continue being in that situation. And that is exactly what happened to me. I had the first signs that this job was no longer going to work for me back in March. And I ignored it and I pushed through it because there's something to be said, like, you're gonna have bumps in the road. And I was like, okay, maybe I just have to get over this hump. No, I'm not even gonna get into it because that's a whole nother video I could film, and maybe I will film it one day. But I just want you to be so aware of the signs. If you are in a place that you are not meant to be, God will push you out of it. The universe will push you out of it. And if you are being stubborn and you are trying to force yourself in that situation, trying to force to make it work, it's gonna become impossible for you to stay there. Like, they're going to make it miserable for you. And I keep using my job as an example because that's what's current in my life right now. But this applies to so many different things. Like, post-college depression is so freaking real. Burnout from college is so real. Burnout from a job is so real. Burnout from your hobbies is so real. Like, this is like something that many people will deal with in their lives. My job was great until it wasn't. That was my sign to go. And I ignored it. But like, here's the thing. A lot of people like to say, why me? Why me? This is so unfair, blah, blah, blah. It's so important to take a step back and like look at the bigger picture. Like, if I had not been this unhappy, I would not have taken a step back to leave. Sometimes things have to fall apart for the next thing to fall into place. If you are looking at your life as a book and you've got all these chapters, you cannot keep reading. You cannot move on to the next chapter until you close the previous one. So anyways, this applies to breakups. This applies to jobs. This applies to messy friendships. This applies to anything toxic. You will know that you're supposed to leave way sooner than you'll ever let yourself admit or realize. Keep that in mind. If you are being pushed out of something, there is a reason. Do not hold on to the past. There is something better for you. There is a next step over there waiting for you at the end of this finish line. Now, this brings us into point number 4, because this was not my plan. I wanted to be at this job for another year. I wanted to stay in Vegas for another year. Like, I was not done with my time here. My plans did not align with all the shit I was dealing with. So, it's okay to make plans. You are going to make plans, you are going to make goals, you are going to like decide how your life is gonna go based off of what makes sense, but you also need to be okay with pivoting. And this is something that specifically to this situation, I had a very hard time coming to terms with, because these next decisions and these next steps that I'm taking, that I've decided on, did not align with my plan. And that was very hard for me to like let go of what my previous plan was to move on to this next step. Like, I was literally holding myself back because I was like, oh, well, this doesn't follow my plan. This doesn't follow everything I wanted to do this year. This does not follow blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Let me show you my goal sheet. Like, you guys, when I tell you I make plans for my year, oh, I do that. Best believe I do that. Here's the thing. Nowhere on these goals does it say quit your job. Nowhere on these goals does it say stop posting on YouTube. Nowhere in these goals does it say spiral into a burnout that was near depression. Obviously, my next steps in life are so freaking exciting. Little me, that's her. Little me, say hi. she would be so freaking excited, as I am now, about these next steps that I'm taking, that like, she'd be like, duh, quit your job, go. But me, I was not so excited. In fact, I was so married to these plans and to these goals that I just showed you that I wasn't allowing myself to pivot. And I try to only give advice that I would myself follow. And if you ask anyone, I am the biggest advocate of you are not stuck. You can do whatever you want. You can change all your plans overnight. Like, you're never stuck in something, and I felt stuck. I was like, all right, we've got a problem. You are going to make plans in life, and I think that's fine. I think that's normal, and I think that's good if you're ambitious and you have big things that you are striving towards. But you can't be so tunnel vision and closed-minded that you miss other opportunities. Like, look around as you're driving on this like road of life. Like, don't just go in a straight path. Like, check your blind spot, and then like look at these other opportunities. Take the fork in the freaking road. Now I'm being a Maya with these crazy analogies, but don't turn a blind eye just because you're following your plans. As opportunities come to you, these are ideas that like want to be manifested on. And if you do not jump on that, the idea is gonna pluck itself from your head and put it into someone else's. Like, life is so about energy, and ideas are energy. If an opportunity comes to you and it's something that, like, it's an idea you flirted with in the past, but you never saw how it could come to be, and an opportunity all of a sudden presents itself, and it's like, oh shit, like, this wasn't in my plans, but all of a sudden this is like really lining up and all the timelines make sense. Look a little closer at it, because that just might be the path you should be taking next. For example, like the last time I was burnt out like this severely, I couldn't let go of my plans, and I didn't know how to pivot and move on to the next thing. I was pre-med. All my life was doctor, pre-med. I literally graduated with a physiological science degree. I knew in my heart I wanted to pursue something that was more creative than pre-med. I knew I wanted to pursue something that used these other skills. I wanted to pursue something else, but I didn't even know how to get there. And I was like trying to turn a blind eye, because I was like, well, I just invested all this time, that why would I all of a sudden ditch this and move on to this other idea? Like sunk cost fallacy, I think is what it's called, something like that. And now I'm in PR and marketing. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna have plans and you're gonna have ideas in your life, and life is gonna throw wrenches at those plans. You have to be okay with taking a step back and like looking at the bigger picture, because that's kind of how life works, guys. And watch, I'm gonna look back at this video in like a year, 5 years, 10 years, and be like, girl, you thought you knew it all. Just you wait. Like, I already know it's gonna happen. Actually, something I do want to bring up, this book. This is not sponsored in any way. I don't even know if books can sponsor a video, but I wanted you guys to know about this book because it's incredible. I literally have like a bunch of different pages dog-eared because there was just things that I was like reading and I was like, ah. This book I read the weekend before I decided to quit my job. This book is arguably what helped give me the courage to quit my job. It's called In 5 Years, and it's by Rebecca Shirley. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But this is such a freaking incredible book. If you are a girl in your 20s, or a girl who is in her burnout, and a girl who, like me, has very structured plans, like the main character in this book is about a girl who is very, very married to her 5-year plan, hence in 5 years. And she lives a perfect life at the beginning. She like gets a premonition of sorts, and all of a sudden is freaking out because her life is all of a sudden entirely different from where she wants it to be, from her 5-year plan. This premonition does not, also I'm saying premonition, but maybe this isn't even the right word. But this is just a fantastic book. I cannot recommend it enough. I'm somebody who either like drags her feet through a book or finishes it immediately, can't put it down. This was a can't put it down book. I think this is just like, it's an incredible story, and it shows like to not be afraid of change and to not be afraid of taking big, scary leaps of faith. I really love this book. It's one that I will think about for a very, very long time. Anyways, go read this book. Wrapping up this video, my 5th and final tip for you would be something that I wish someone had told me back in March when this first started, is you are allowed to want more than you think you are like worth. You are allowed to want more even before you think you're ready. Here's the thing, as individuals, as humans, we often downplay our skills and often downplay what we're capable of because we're so afraid of rejection. We're so afraid of looking stupid. We're so afraid of putting ourselves out there too much, of being too bold, of being too needy, being too expectant. In this burnout, that's something that I've realized, like, you're allowed to want more. That is the only way that you are going to grow. That is the only way that you are going to continue excelling in your life and leveling up, is by taking big jumps to level up. Like me being in this job, I could be in the same job for another 2-3 years. Like maybe I'd get a bonus here and there, or maybe I'd get a job title increase here and there. But like for my life goals and my plans and like things that I really truly want to do, that's not leveling up. And that's not to shit on my job, and that's not to shit on like my experience or what I've done for the last like year and a half. Like you're allowed to want more. And I felt like I wanted more. I didn't know what that meant. And trust me, I got a lot of no's. I've been applying for jobs for a couple months now, and I got so many no's. I got some no's that didn't hurt too bad, and I got some no's that really, really freaking hurt. There was a job I wanted so badly, and I was so excited. I thought like, this is my one way out. Got an interview with them. Long story short, I didn't get a second interview. At the time, it literally felt like maybe I'm not good enough. And it's just like, I let myself second guess myself, and I was like, oh fuck, maybe I'm not ready for that next step. But if you knew that there were 50 no's before you would get your ultimate yes, your dream yes, how quickly would you be blasting through those no's? Really quickly. Like, look at this as big picture with me. Think about all those no's. If I had any of those no's become a yes, I would have missed this opportunity that is something I've arguably been looking to do since I graduated college. So like 4 or 5 years I've thought about doing this. That's like half a decade, you guys. Half a decade I've been thinking about this idea. Never felt like I had an opportunity, never felt like it was the right moment. All of a sudden it fell into my lap and happened so fast. So if I had a yes, that would have prevented me from doing this big life move. So waiting until you're qualified enough to chase something is what will keep you stuck. Burnout also comes from suppressing your dreams. So don't lose sight of your dreams and your goals. Be aware that there are opportunities to pivot and take that big leap of faith. I'm not telling you to go do anything freaking crazy and impulsive. Think about it. And if it feels right, do it. And you'll know. All right, to wrap this up, what's next? Well, if you are just coming out of burnout, you have to be so patient with yourself. Like, I still feel the lingering effects of this burnout. This is the first day I've actually truly wanted to sit down and film in over 2 months, where I'm filming with no guilt, no time constraints, no stress. Like, I'm just having fun, guys. Like, it feels fun again. This felt like a chore, and it felt stressful, and I felt guilty about it for so long. And I'm so freaking excited to be back, you guys. I just feel so giddy and like overjoyed. I feel overjoyed, yeah. So anyways, I'm still figuring out this next chapter of my life. I'm gonna take you guys along with me. I'm gonna share what I'm up to. I'll let you guys in on the little secret. I've got Hood to Coast at the end of August, which I'm gonna be vlogging for you guys. I'm doing it with my sister, which, as you know, we make videos together. Those are arguably my favorite videos. Her and I, like, our energy is unmatched. She's my best friend. And us on film together is so funny. It's very clear, our dynamic. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys, I'm so excited to take you along with me on this journey as I come back. I hope that this video helped you. I hope that it gave you some tools and like maybe even just helped you feel a little bit seen, or maybe even helped you diagnose what you've been feeling if you didn't know what this was. Hey sisters, burnout, welcome to the club. If you also have experienced burnout, please put in the comments below like any other tips that worked for you. We're fostering a community of people that come together and help each other grow and chase our dreams. So would love to hear your thoughts down below if there's anything you feel I missed. And yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I read it and finished it in the same weekend that I decided to quit my job. So Rebecca, you are the reason I quit my job. Thank you. It's up to you, but I recommend you take that leap of faith. I've never felt so confident in such a big, scary decision that I just made. Like, this is probably arguably the biggest decision I've ever made in my life.